Hello everyone, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about your three link sectors and how they can improve your chances of success when you start a new endeavor. There will be three sectors of your house that are linked through your QUA number and the early and later heaven spot QUAs, and I will show you how this is done so it's not a big deal. But there'll be certain months during certain years that have a special combination that will allow you to start a new project and have a much greater chance of success at being able to have a good outcome. And this is why these three link sectors are important. You will need your QUA number to do this. The best free, no registration, no email, anything like that site that I found is the Circle of Light QUA number calculator. And you can just Google that. You do need your date of birth and your gender. I believe you should use your preferred gender because the universe is telling you something. If you're gender neutral, I say let the universe decide for you. And the way I would do this is I would take a sheet of paper and I would write down something like this. I would say, I am going to flip a coin to determine which gender will give me the better results when we're determining my QUA number. When I flip the coin, if it's heads, it will be female. If it's tails, it will be male. Something like that. You can flip the male, female, it doesn't matter. Then after you've written it down, you want to take a minute or so, as long as you need, to kind of become in a very relaxed state. You don't want to be distracted when you're doing this. And then you read it, you flip the coin, and you do whatever the coin says. Because the universe is telling you not which gender you are, but which QUA number is good for you. The only exception to using this is if you were born between February 3rd and 5th. Then you need a more accurate calculator than the Circle of Light. You do need your time of birth for this because the day doesn't change at midnight from one year to the next or from one QUA number to the next. It varies throughout the day, depending on the year. So I will do this for free for anybody because this is like less than 1% of the people out there. So that's still a lot of people, but I don't think everybody on the planet will be contacting me. But you can also use this free Batsa calculator from the Joey app website, and you can just Google this. Unfortunately, with his website, you do need to register and you will get a ton of email, but you can always unsubscribe after you get this information. And it's good to get your whole Batsa, the 8 characters, because that's used quite frequently. Now, in both of these cases, you may get the number 5. Now, Joey Yap does not call it a QUA number, but it will be the biggest number on the first page of the 2-page report. And this, they could also just tell you your QUA number is 5. In this case, if either your chosen gender is male or the universe told you so, then you use the number 2. If it's female, you use the number 8. And that's just feng shui. A lot of feng shui doesn't like the number 5. And so they split it this way. I'm not sure. I do know why, because this is the same element, but this is just the way it works. Now this is an important table. You're going to find your QUA number somewhere over here. The most important sector to look at is your GUA sector. That sector absolutely must be involved when we're looking at combinations of numbers, which I will show you. Don't worry about it right now, but there'll be certain months that work. And depending on what kind of new endeavor you want, if it has to do with health and relationships, you want to activate the other sector you'll be activating will be this sector, depending on whatever your QUA number is. This could be things like a new exercise program or a new diet. This could be maybe seeking therapy if you're having
relationship problems. If you're having money problems, or maybe you want to start a new business or something like this, then you would be using the later heavens direction or sector of your house. Actually, these are sectors of your house. And you simply want to note with your Kwa number what are your Kwa, your early heavens, and later heavens locations in your house. And then you can basically forget the Kwa number after this next section, because we're really only worrying about these sectors, not what your Kwa number is.
So what I'm going to show here is I'm only going to do Kwa number 1 in a detailed manner, but once you see this pattern, you can check your Kwa number. I will also show everybody's Kwa number, but you can check if I'm right. So what I'm highlighting here is the north for each one of these. This is early heavens, later heavens, and this will be your 3 link sectors in the end. And I always show the Kwa highlighted with red. Now this is for Kwa number 1, and that's why I'm highlighting north in each one of these. What we're looking for is here in the north, let's just start here, we have Kun Kwa with this trigram, 3 broken lines. We're looking for it over here when it is here. So this is the southwest sector that has to do with finances. And if you need to work on your finances, you find a date that when I'm giving you monthly or yearly things, I would tell you whether this is for wealth. And if it is, these are the 2 sectors you would be activating.
So we do the same thing. We look here at the later heavens. Where is the north highlighted? This is the Kan. It's solid, broken, solid. I'm sorry, the other way around. Broken, solid, broken. And it's here in the west, in the early heavens. So that allows this to be part of it. Now the west is part of the early heavens, and that is to do with health and relationships. So if you are having an issue with that, you're looking for a date that would combine the north and the west. If you have to worry about money, it'll be the north and the southwest. If you're trying to do a new endeavor or a new something to improve your life. And that's how you choose which date, because these are very likely to be different dates. Now there are a few dates where all 3 of these do come together, and those are then you can use it for either one when that happens.
So this is for Kwa 2. Here's your Kwa sector, and this is the one you most often activate by being there, but it's not always necessary. Depends on the situation. This is for Kwa 3. Your Kwa is in the east. This is for Kwa 4. Your Kwa is in the southeast. This is for Kwa 6. Your Kwa is in the northwest. Kwa 7. Your Kwa is in the west. Kwa 8. Your Kwa is in the northeast. And Kwa 9, your Kwa is in the south. So that completes all of them.
Now from this point on in this video, you can forget what your Kwa number is. Only look at those 3 sectors that we talked about. Your Kwa sector, your early heavens and later heavens sectors. And these will be sectors of your house. And it's best to use the pie chart, but it'll be a room in that sector that ultimately you'll be activating. So just remember those 3 directions and be very cognizant of which one is your Kwa sector, because this is the one that you absolutely have to have part of these 3 link sectors. So it'll become clearer as I go on, because I'll give you some examples. Now this is just a reminder, so that if you need to record this again, you missed it before, hit the pause button, record by your Kwa number where your 3 sectors are. And again, remember, this is for if you need to activate something to do with health or relationship, you're looking for a link with your early heavens. And otherwise, you'll be looking for the link with the later heavens for money. Now, in the next few slides, I'm going to be showing you some charts, some 9 square grid charts. The numbers in those charts are either the annual or the monthly stars, and they will correspond to a given year and a given Chinese calendar month. And it'll repeat, but it is very specific to a certain time. Now, these numbers are independent of the facing direction of your residence, and they're also independent of the period of your residence. They just have to do with timing. This is the numbers we're going to use, and we're going to look at your 3 link sectors. And these are the numbers you need to pay attention to. You can ignore your qual number. You don't need to find the qual number in there at all. You're just looking for certain types of links between different sectors. Now, you're going to have to activate either 2 or 3 of these link sectors during the certain periods of time during a Chinese calendar month, which unfortunately doesn't correspond directly with the Western calendar, so it's a little complicated. But during this month, if you start a new project, this is where you improve your chances of success in this endeavor, that it will have a good outcome. Now, most houses also have years that are very good because they will have an annual special formation. But every annual special formation that's out there only repeats every 9 years. So that is too long to wait. That's why you can use this. Now, this is a lot more work than just waiting for your annual special formation. But if you know next year you're going to have one, then definitely you can just simply wait, and if you don't start on a clash day, everything should be good. You can start any day, and you can be anywhere. But if your annual formation, you just missed it last year, you're going to have to wait another 8 years, and that's too long. Now, the one thing that you should think about when you're looking for a house is that the sector of the people who are the breadwinners of the family, their gua sector should be a usable room. It could be a bedroom, although that's not ideal because you're going to be working in there, but it needs to be a room that can be used to do what you want to do. If you're talking about health, you would your kitchen would be okay, although it is a bit restricted there. But you do need to have a room that you can actually use either for working or working out. I mean, depending on what you need to do. You do want a sector that you can actually use without disturbing the rest of the family. And that is something you should consider when you're looking for a house. Now, the best room to work in is a room that's in your gua sector. That is the best way to activate that sector. Now, you will have 3 areas by your link sectors in your house. It's ideal if they receive qi from either the main door or from a large window that can be opened within that room. It doesn't have to be opened while you're actually doing things, but at least can be opened at some point in time. Now, I do have a qi flow video that will tell you how to map the qi flow in your house so that you can tell whether or not these rooms receive qi. And that's really only important if you don't have a window that you can open in that room. So, sometimes this can be a little hard, but it's okay. As long as you have a window, you should be fine. Now, the best way to activate your gua sector, again, is you actually working in the area, whether it's learning something new or starting a new business for money, or perhaps researching and planning a new diet if it's for health, or perhaps seeking therapy if it's for relationships. So, but that's the sector. Your gua sector is where you really want to be. Sometimes this doesn't work. Sometimes it just you can't do it, but if you can, that's the best. Now, you're going to have to activate at least one other sector, sometimes two, depending on which combination of numbers in the annual and monthly stars we're talking about. And those use elemental activations. And these activations will come from looking at the growth cycle of the 5 elements. And you only need to have that activation present during the periods of time you're actually performing tasks for those goals. Otherwise, they don't have to be there. I mean, they can stay, but they don't have to be there. And you're going to be at least activating one other room besides the one you're working in. And again, that's elementally. And in general, you're going to have 2 stars. One is annual, one is monthly in every sector. And activating the better of the 2 stars is usually the best way to go. Sometimes neither of them are very good stars, so you kind of have to activate the better one, because sometimes there is usually one that's a little better than the other. And you want to, again, use the growth cycle of the 5 elements to be able to activate the better of the 2 stars. Now, we are going to be looking for parent string, HER2, or a combo 10 within your 3 linked sectors. Now, the HER2 and the combo 10 must occur in both numbers. They can be, one can be combo 10, one can be HER2. I have not found a case that actually works with 2 combo 10s, so I actually am going to give you some examples so you can see this. There are combinations that have 2 HER2s, but just not 2 combo 10s. Now, this combo of HER2 and combo 10 can occur in your Gua sector or with the other linked sectors. It doesn't matter which one's which, it's okay. The parent string can only occur when you're linking all 3 sectors, and it is rarer. Now, your Gua sector must be part of this HER2 or combo 10 combination, and of course it will automatically be part of the parent string. But there are times when you might see a HER2 and combo 10 between your early and later heavens Baguas, but your Gua sector is not involved. That does not work. So here's an example. This one is a combo 10 and a HER2. And here I'm being very clear exactly how this works. We have the annual star on top, the month star on the bottom in each one of these sectors. So this is just, this is actually the year 2023, and then 9 years from now, it'll repeat. And this is a certain month. And actually, it doesn't have to be exactly this way. During the year when 8 is the annual star, which I think is 2028, you could have a month with 4. It will give you this same setup. Every number will flip in every box, but you're going to have the same combination. So this is why you get more combinations with this method than you do waiting for 9 years for a special formation that affects your entire house. So what works here? Well, we have this sector and this sector. This is the combo 10 and this is the HER2. And this can work for 2 different people. If someone is a quad number 4, this is where they would be sitting doing their work. And this is the west sector. This is the later heaven. So this would be good for them to do something to help them financially. This quad number 7 would be sitting here, and they could activate this sector to help them with their health or relationships. Now, when it comes to activating the other, one of these rooms has to be activated with elements. Well, this one, I would say 1 is slightly better because it is truly timely right now and will be timely for another 40 years. And the 6 is also timely. So I'm sorry, 6 isn't technically timely, but it's generally good. So you could activate that if you really wanted to, but usually the activation is going to be either fire or water. Those are the normal activations, or metal. And in this case, I would put metal, which will strengthen the one. Now this is also metal. It also strengthens the one, but extra metal helps. And it could be a fan with metal blades. That would work. If it's this sector that you want to activate, neither of these are particularly good. Neither of these are timely. They're actually things that you generally want to mitigate. So you could actually use fire here. Now, the way you use fire is just like you do with any other cure. You light a short 5 to 10 minute candle, turn on a salt lamp, and then you can blow out the candle or just let it burn down because it's a short candle. And then you just leave the salt lamp on. That will activate it, and activate it safely. You can turn off the salt lamp when you're done working if you want, or you can leave it on, and that will continually activate this, and that's okay. And you could leave metal in here permanently too, or at least for this year or this month. That's fine too. Now this happens to correspond to 2 different months. One is already gone, earlier this year, and then later this year, November 8th through December 6th, Quan number 4 or Quan number 7 can use this. Now, Quan number 4 will use it for money. Quan number 7 has to use it for health or relationships. If you try to use it for, if Quan number 7 tries to use it for money, it won't work. It doesn't have any special effect. I mean, they can do it, it just doesn't have any boost. So here's another example. Now here are 2 sets of HER2s. And actually I'm going to keep this chart for the rest of this examples, and you will see why. Now this one, we have southwest, this is for 2, and this is southeast, so both Quan number 2 and 4 can use it because they have this combo. So this corresponds to May through June of 2026. So that's still a few years away, but either one of these can use it. Quan number 4 has to use it for health and relationships. Quan number 2 has to use it for something financial. And of course with here, 9 is pretty good. You can use fire, actually, that can activate this. And again, a candle with a salt lamp. Here, neither of these are particularly good, and but in period 9, that is next year, or at least when this happens, you could use fire because 2 becomes more timely. It isn't great because in the annual and monthly stars, sometimes it does seem to do illness, and if that's the case, I would use water here. If you find that it leads to illness, you could use water. So water is maybe a little safer, but it depends on how strong your need is, whether you're going to use fire or water. So this is the same chart. Now we're looking for the parent string. We have it here. And this is Quan number 7. And so we have, it sits in the west. Then we have the southeast and the north as its other 2 sectors. This particular month, the Quan number 7 can do anything either related to money or to health or relationships. This corresponds to that same month because nothing has changed. This is the same chart. Now that's not all. Number 9, Quan number 9 in the south, the east, and the northwest also has a parent string. Now the parent string is quite powerful, so this is very good to use. This again is the same date, it's the same chart, it's the same date. So this particular month, 2.5 years from now, is good for Quan number 2, 4, 7, or 9. but each of these people need to be in a different location when they're working for the best results. Now, if for some reason this one of these is a bathroom and you cannot use it as the place where you're working, you could sit in a different sector and activate the bathroom's stars. So that is possible. And it's a little tricky. It's not as good as if you can sit in your GWA sector, but it can be done. Now, the reason why these locations are more useful than waiting for your entire house to have that temporary, that annual special formation is because these dates are much more frequent. It is a lot more work to find these dates. That I fully admit, but they come at a much more frequent timing. Now, if you've watched some of the videos, you probably know this, but new endeavors do not have to finish during that Chinese calendar month. They just need to be started during that month. And you can use these dates either for planning or execution. And if you know you're going to have 2 months in 1 year, and that only occurs for a few sets of combinations, you might use that first one for planning and then the next one later that year for execution. You do have to be clear of one type of blockage to be able to use this well. And that is if your fear outweighs your enthusiasm, this probably won't work for you. Now, you need to eliminate or at least reduce that fear outweighing blockage, fear outweighing enthusiasm blockage before you can really take advantage of these dates. So you basically have to activate your courage. You can activate the star 3. This is best if you actually live by yourself because the star 3 can also lead to arguments within the house. But if you're living there alone, it's okay. And you activate that with water because star 3 is a wood star. You can also activate the hero sector in your Qi Men chart. That will also help you gain courage. Either one works, and depending on your situation, you may prefer the hero over the star 3. Now, these the annual afflictions can actually complicate these locations, so you do have to be aware of them. But if the nature of your activity is like learning something new for a job or planning or executing the starting of a new business, that's quiet work. That's fine. But you don't want to do something that would activate the annual affliction because that makes you have a lot more problems. Now, for something that wouldn't be so good, perhaps learning to sing or starting an exercise workout routine wouldn't be good if that sector has an annual affliction, especially the exercise, because you're going to drop weights or, there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of noise. That would activate an annual affliction. So sometimes this gets a little more complicated, but you could use a different room and use a much more gentle activation in the room with the annual affliction. That sometimes does happen. Now, one thing you really want to avoid is to start the work on a clash day. You can work on a clash day, you just don't want to start the new endeavor on the clash day. Now, you can find the day's animal sign on a tongshu, and they're not terribly expensive, so they're worth the price. You're going to have 4 animal signs, or at least up to 4 animal signs in your batsa. If you want a complete chart, which really is a good idea to do this because you really do want to avoid all 4 if you can. And so you would need your time of birth to get a complete chart. If you don't have it, then if you don't have your time of birth, well, you just don't. And you do your best you can with the other 3. If you know your date of birth, you'll be fine. Now, this is a Batsa calculator. It's a free source. You want to use 0 GMT to be able to find your right chart, because it's really based on your local time. Now, what is a clash day? Most people know this, but it's the one opposite your animal sign on the 24 mountain chart. So if you have a rat in your Vatsa, you do not want to start on a horse day. You can start on a rat day or any other of the days, just not on the horse, and vice versa. If you have a horse in your animal sign, you cannot start on a rat day, but you can start on anything else, including the horse day. Now, also on the Tongshu, you're going to have a day officer listed. If you can also start on a day that's not a clash day and on one of these better day officers, that's even better. But that can be quite hard, and I would worry about not starting on a clash day first before I'd worry about this. Now, there is a personal date selection book by Joey Yap that can actually allow you to calculate this if you want to, if you're interested, but a Tongshu will have this information, and I suggest you get the Tongshu. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please feel free to contact me here or leave a comment. And you can also check out my website if you want some more information. Thank you again for watching.